Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/AmITheDevil. So if you would like to sit back and judge some big old gaping boat holes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions that I give on the post we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, please do feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just of course make sure to keep it respectful with each other. There is no need to be mean to each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? But before we actually start, I did say in reply to a comment on Monday's video that I would put a picture up of my cat, my black cat. I think it was Errant Rowan that asked if I would put a picture up of him, because I actually put up a lot of pictures of the Nakies, but not him. So here you go, he's on the screen. He's got a little daisy on his head, chilling in our back garden, loving life. He doesn't go out. I don't let him out on his own, but he does go in the back garden on a lead. But I have to keep that at a minimum as well, because he gets allergic reactions to the grass. Bless him. If he's out too much. So yeah, there he is. He's a lovely boy, lovely sweet boy. I've had him now for 11 years, since he was 8 weeks old. So yeah, he is very much surgically attached to me also, like the others. But yeah, there you are. There's a picture of him as promised. So this first one is quite long, so please do sit back and relax. It was reposted by Tired of BS Roommate. Am I the butthole for accusing a teenager of grooming? Am I the butthole for confronting an older student because my son has a crush on her? My son is 10M. He goes to a performing arts school on the weekends. There's a 17-year-old girl there who's famous. She's been in a few professional acting jobs and has 100,000 TikTok followers. My son and loads of the students there think it's really cool that she's famous, and he always comments on her videos being supportive. She doesn't respond to a lot of comments, but whenever she notices he or people from the performing arts school has commented, she replies. I thought it was sweet at first, until like 5 nights ago my son had a sleepover with his friends, and I heard him talk about a crush he has on the girl from the drama group, and that they follow each other on TikTok and he messages her on there a lot. I asked him the next day after his friends left about it and checked their messages. I mean, totally agree with that. I think if we know that any child that's 10 is talking to someone who's 17 in private messages, I would want to know what was going on in those messages just for my own peace of mind and to make sure that it was all above board. I totally agree with that. So far, not so bad. But this has ended up in Am I the Devil, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go downhill from here. This is how the conversation went, and I have screenshots. I'll put what was said here. Him: hello, thank you for following me back. Her: no problem, you're a diva. Him: you're so famous on TikTok. Her: haha, my videos are trash. I don't know why I have so many for real. Him: I like your videos, you're a good actress. Her: aw, thank you so much, you're a great actor too. Him: thank you, smiley face. The next day, he sent her a TikTok trend to the show they're doing, which is Mary Poppins. He's playing Michael, and the 17-year-old is playing Mary Poppins. Him: can you do this TikTok with me and kid playing Jane? Her: looks like fun. We should if your parents and her parents let you post on TikTok. Him: yes, they do. Her: great, okay, so far so good. There's nothing untoward, and she's very sort of like to the point. And not really leading any conversation either, and even has just said, we can do it if your parents are okay with it, basically. Him: I'm so excited for Mary Poppins. Her: me too, you're amazing at playing Michael. Him: this is my first main part. I was so happy, and I didn't think I'd get a big part since I'm new to this group. Her: oh my god, that's so sweet. I had my first main part at 10 too. First leads are special. Him: really? That's so cool. The next day. Him: I don't remember my lines. Him: only in some parts. Him: you always do yours so quick. How? Her. Haha, you're so real for that. My first few leads, I was so scared I wouldn't know them. I went through my lines every day and still didn't always remember them until we were off book. It got easier as I've got older though. Go through all your lines and songs once every day until it becomes second nature. That's what I've done with Mary. Yeah, it definitely sounds like she's taken on more of a mentor role. I'm not seeing anything weird right now. Him, thank you. Next day, him, hi. Him, how are you? Her, I'm good thanks, how are you? Him, fine. Him, who's your favourite character from the show? Her, Mary, but I'm biased. Who's yours? Him, Mary too. I think Emily is pretty. Her, oh, Emily Blunt from the newer one? Him, yeah, you kind of look like her. Her, haha, I see it a bit. Him, you do. The next day. Him, good morning, your video is funny. Thank you, I'm here all week. Him, you played a funny character in the last show, didn't you? I watched it before I joined the drama group. Her, Miss Wormwood. Him, yes, she was my favourite because she was funny. Her, thank you, haha, I tried. Him, you was good. That was the last conversation they had. I felt really uncomfortable with the fact that she kept replying to him. So yesterday, I confronted her about it. Oh my goodness. There was nothing weird about those messages though. I understand if it was that she was coming off as like creepy or inappropriate or anything. But if anything, it was him messaging more and her replying in more of like a mentor-y kind of friendly way, I feel. And I would be the first one, by the way, to say if I thought that anything in those messages were creepy. I'd be the first to be like, ew, that's gross. I asked the director after dropping my son off if the 17-year-old is there yet. The director said yes. I asked if I could speak to her and him about something important together, please. He said okay. The director, the girl, and I spoke together. I told them I'm feeling uncomfortable because my son has a crush on her. The girl went quiet, and the director said, oh yes, I can see why that would make you uncomfortable. I showed the screenshots to them of the conversations, and the director and the girl read through them. The director asked her if it was just her being nice. She said, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be an inappropriate way or anything. I just wanted to be supportive. I said, well, surely you think it's weird a 10-year-old would have a crush on a 17-year-old. I mean, yeah, she would feel weird about it, but she can't control if he does, and she didn't know that until you've just gone and told her. And she said, yeah, that's weird. I didn't know though. The director defended her, saying, if that's the only online conversation they've had, then I assure you this isn't her fault. In person, we supervise the students at all times, and she's not said anything inappropriate to him here. I said that I'm worried she's grooming him. She started crying, saying she's not grooming him. The director said he understands my concern, but that's not what's going on here if that's the only evidence of this. I said I don't want her to talk to my son. The director said, I'm sure she'll happily block him on social media, and she said, yeah, I'll block him. I said I don't want her speaking to him in the school either. The director said that that's not really completely possible since they have a lot of scenes together. I said fine, but if they're doing scenes together, there needs to be someone supervising the both of them specifically at all times. The director said someone supervises all of the students at all times. I said great, but I want specific ones around the girl and my son. The director said he'll speak to the owner. I said great and left. The mother messaged me after rehearsal saying she's disgusted by what I'm accusing her daughter of. She says that her daughter's experienced something similar to what I'm suggesting in her childhood and would never want to put a child through that after what she's been through. And she actually wants to foster children when she's older because she cares so much about the well-being of children with trauma and hates anyone who hurts kids. I said I'm just ensuring my kid's safety. She said I should talk to my son about what is an appropriate age gap and what's not, and that her daughter is well aware that that's a terrible age gap. Exactly. Why didn't she go to her son first and be like, look mate, I heard you saying you got a crush on this girl, and I know you've been messaging her, and you know, I can see that it's all just friendly messages, but you can't be pursuing someone of her age and she is not going to have an interest in you. That is not an appropriate age gap to have. You need to date someone your own age, although at 10 years old, should you really be dating at all? Probably not. Do 10-year-olds date though? Yes, they do. I'm not daft. I know they do, but you know, it's usually very surface level dating of, oh my god, we held hands. Oh, and by the way, that's not me saying that the OP shouldn't be going up to the girl and being like, look, my son has a crush on you. I've overheard him saying this. I know that you've been messaging him. If it was me and I'd read those messages, I'd be like, I can see they're just friendly messages. I can see you're just trying to be supportive, but he has got these sorts of feelings right now. So could you maybe just make it clear that this is a friend capacity or whatever, or just even don't even have to say anything. I'll have a word with him. You just be aware and make sure that you are careful with your language to make sure that he knows that this is just a friend capacity and a supportive mentor style relationship, friendship, you know, because yeah, I do think it doesn't hurt to have a word with the other party either. But it's her son that has the crush and that she's overheard. So it's the son she needs to talk to about what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate with certain people. I've gotten messages from other parents too saying to leave the 17-year-old alone and that I'm being completely unreasonable and that they feel really sorry for the 17-year-old and she's a really kind person. Yeah, there was nothing in those messages that would make me feel like uncomfortable as a parent. I would talk to my son if it was me and he was my son, and I'd just, you know, outline, you know, what is an appropriate way to talk, what is not, you know, also to them about respecting the boundaries of the 17-year-old, you know, don't constantly message them and what have you, you know, don't spam them and things. And yeah, I would probably do that rather than go after this poor girl who sounds like she was just trying to kind of act in like a mentor kind of way, if that makes sense. Nothing in those messages came across as creepy to me. I can understand wanting to check your kids' messages, and I can understand, you know, if they're having a private conversation with a 17-year-old that might make you feel a bit like, oh, that's not okay, that, you know, that's a bit too much private messaging. But all I would do then is I'd be like, look, you can't message her anymore, mate. She's 17. Talk to her in class if you want to talk and get tips. You can't be talking to her in private messages. I'm not comfortable with that. That's fine to do as a parent. So let's have a look at what the comments say, shall we? So Cheerio says, none of what the 17-year-old said was inappropriate in any way. What is OOP trying to do? The conversations were mostly about the plays they are doing / did. OOP is seeing things that aren't there, and I'm sure the girl only replied to be nice to the younger kids who participate in the same plays as her to make it more comfortable for everyone. So then negative Sid Nancy says, right, even in one of her messages she flat out said that she wouldn't be in the trendy video with the children unless their parents okayed it. Exactly. So, next post, reposted by ArcticCos02. He thinks she's an fair baby. Yes. Originally posted in r/AmITheBorthole. Am I the Borthole for making my daughter use dollar store shampoo and conditioner? My wife and I have 3 daughters. Oldest is 16, middle is 14, and the youngest is 10. My entire family and my wife's family all has straight hair. My oldest and youngest also have straight hair. Then there's my middle with curly blonde hair and green eyes. The rest of the I'm laughing, by the way, because that is basically what has happened in my family. So my younger sister, sort of dark blonde, straight hair, blue eyes. Older sister, very straight, fine hair, blue eyes. I have like weird coloured eyes. They are blue, but they're very weird. They're not the same as my siblings. And I have pretty curly hair and very thick hair. So yeah, you really can't go by what the others have. The rest of the family has brown hair and brown eyes. I admittedly am not very close with her because I had doubts that she was mine and I had a hard time bonding with her due to that. My middle daughter insists that she needs special shampoo and conditioner because of her curly hair. She found some that wasn't too expensive, so I bought it for her. but she goes through the conditioner like water. She came to me after a little over a month and said that she needed another bottle. I told her that she doesn't need that and that her conditioner should last her at least another month, but probably longer, but she insists that she needs to use a lot of conditioner for curly hair. I bought her another bottle and told her to use less because she wasn't getting another one for at least 2 months. She used it again in a month, so I bought her shampoo and conditioner from the dollar store. She had a meltdown about how this is going to ruin her hair and that she's just got it to a place where she liked it and it was manageable. She blames us for her hair being uncontrollable for most of her life because we didn't learn how to take care of her curly hair. Well, yeah. Curly hair has completely different care requirements to straight hair. Even though it's not different than straight hair, but it is. It literally is. One is straight and one is curly. The actual, shape of the strands is different in curly hair than straight hair. And you need different products, different care, everything, you know? She even threatened to shave her head, which I know she won't do because she's obsessed with her hair. Now she's refusing to speak to me and she's being extremely disrespectful to me and my wife. My wife thinks we should give in, but I think she needs to learn her lesson. Am I the butthole? I think absolutely the butthole for having so much disdain against this kid because he seems to think that she's not his. Because she has curly hair and blue eyes, which, just look into chances and genetics and stuff and what you have in your family, because you may not have them, but they can pop up. It doesn't need to come from the parents. Sometimes it can come from further back. And even then, not even bothering to look into the requirements ever for his kid's hair, saying, oh, even though it's not different than straight hair, it literally is. You can fucking see that it's different, you dipshit. Do you have eyes? Yes? Well done. You can see that it's different. But I feel realistically, the whole reason for not wanting to bother to learn about her hair is more so because he's convinced himself that he can't be the dad because he's not got a single brain cell rocking around in that empty space he calls a head. So, yeah. So then down in the comments, Writing Bookworm says, there's a weird update that I found from him on Arctic Shift. Update from the OOP. It's been almost 2 weeks since my post, so I felt that I should post an update. My middle daughter ran away a couple days after I posted my original post. We found out that she'd been planning this for months, which, if that's the case, tells me there is more going on in the way that the OP treats his daughter other than this hair stuff. My oldest daughter was in on it and helped her hide the fact that she's been working after school for months. She taught her how to hide her money and showed her what to put in her bag and where to hide it. When they were leaving for school, my middle daughter had a new backpack. My wife asked about it and Middle said that it was her friend's, but she didn't want it, so she gave it to her, which was completely plausible considering that friend gives her stuff all the time. A couple hours later, we got a call from the school saying that my middle daughter wasn't there. My wife came home and checked her room and she found a note on her dresser saying that she couldn't handle living with me anymore. My wife has a sister around 45 miles away and our middle daughter showed up to her house after being missing for 3 days. She refused to go home and threatened to run away again if she tried to make her see us. At first, my wife told me to move out so our middle daughter could come home, but she quickly realised that she can't afford to live in our house on her income alone, plus our oldest daughter and youngest daughter deserve to have their parents together, so Middle is going to stay with her aunt until we figure out a plan that works for everyone. So then Jasmadoodle replies to that saying, the kid I didn't like went away and my wife doesn't have the financial independence to do anything about it. I really am God's favourite. Honestly, that is crazy that this kid ran away and the reason was that she couldn't handle living with him anymore. We already got a hint of the disdain that the OP has towards the daughter by the fact that he's convinced that she's not his, and that also, never making an effort to learn about his daughter's hair, never making an effort to help her keep her hair under control or anything like that. Yeah, that is pretty awful. I just hope that the daughter's doing well. and that she's happier now wherever she is. Okay, editing void here. I was about to go on to say, I've just listened to what I was going to say, and I feel like I need to change it, because actually listening back again, sometimes when I listen back to these stories again when I'm editing, I spot things that maybe I didn't spot before, or my views will change completely just because I'm hearing my own ideas on it, mixed with the commenters' ideas, mixed with the ideas in the actual post itself, and my opinion changes. Sometimes my opinion even changes when I read through the comments from you guys, and I start to see things that I didn't see before. Anyway, I was about to go on to say that I was annoyed at the mum for not doing anything, and I am still annoyed at her for not doing anything about it. Don't get me wrong. But then a little bit of me spotted a few context clues that could say perhaps the mum, the OP's wife, is not particularly in the best situation herself with this man. There is obviously, even the OP says himself, there is a certain amount of me that feels that the wife is trapped with him. Not that she wants to be with him, that she is trapped with him. OP says, you know, she was telling me that I need to move out so the middle daughter could move back in, and then she realized she can't financially basically cope with the house and everything if he's not there. So she is stuck. Obviously, there is argument to say, well, whether she's stuck or not financially, you'd think as a mother she'd kick him out, just be like, no, get gone and sort it later. But when you have been financially controlled, when you've been in a controlling relationship, when you've been in a relationship where there is a certain amount of distrust from the other person for no reason and they've got in your head, it isn't always that easy. It should be, but it isn't. And this is why we hear so often about women not leaving, and then unfortunately they become part of a true crime series on Netflix. To put it quite plainly, and it's super, super sad, but that is what goes on, because when you've had somebody in your head for so long, it's crazy how easily you can be manipulated and controlled. I mean, for God's sake, look at all the cults that are around. You'd think most of us would like to think we wouldn't fall for it, but human psychology says otherwise, you know? So yeah, I was about to dog on the wife for like, why haven't you left? Why haven't you kicked him out? Get rid of this sorry ass hat. But then, yeah, I realized that I'd been listening to clues that, you know, this relationship that the wife and the OP have is probably extraordinarily toxic. And obviously the wife is stuck because she actually wanted him to leave and then realized, shit, I can't afford that. I can't keep the house running and, you know, financially provide for the kids as a single person. And we don't know anything about the wife's family. She might not have family. She might not even have friends that she has to turn to, you know, so she may feel very stuck. So obviously, yes, I do think that the wife should kick his sorry ass out, and I do still stick by that. But I understand that it's easy to say, kick him out, get rid. It's not always easy to do. But I think these hints as well also, again, provide us an insight into the stuff that OP is not telling us. You know, the context that is mysteriously, miraculously missing. You know, the fact that the daughter can't stand being there anymore. The other daughter sees how toxic it is for the middle daughter and helped her find a way out. Like, that's crazy. That's when you know that this OP is openly, in some way or another, be it, you know, verbally, mentally, we don't know, maybe even physically abusive to some degree. The wife is trapped. She can't go anywhere. She's very much controlled. She does not have the financial freedom to be able to get out. It really gives us an insight. I feel, personally, you may disagree, but I feel it really gives us an insight into the stuff that the OP is not telling us about the way that they are acting within that household. So yeah, terrible. I really hope that the wife finds a way to leave, because honestly, I feel like she probably wants to. The fact that she would have been quite happy to get rid of him. And we only have the OP's version of these events, by the way, as well. So we don't know what her thoughts and feelings are. We can only take the context clues. But yeah, I hope she leaves him, and I hope, honestly, that the daughter's just doing well. Imagine having a parent that treats everyone else, the other kids, like his, and then just treats you like some riffraff that they've picked up along the way somehow. Like, because that's how it would feel to be treated so unevenly compared to your siblings. It's crazy. But yeah, I hope she's doing well. And I hope the wife kicks him out. And I hope OP steps on a Lego. Okay then, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I completely forgot to record an outro, so if you've noticed the microphone change, that is why. Although that whole other bit was with the other crap microphone as well, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. You probably got used to it by now. So yeah, if you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give it a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that would be your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. If you are in the UK, try not to melt. We are in Heatwave 2.0 and oh, could we not? Like, we are supposed to just be grey, wet, dreary weather here. I'm not used to this. I'm not built for it. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't forget to leave an offering of a comment for Big Al.